Hello everyone, welcome to another vlog. Today I am looking at a piece of the Old West. That's Prospector for Old West. I am in the historic, let's rephrase that. I am in Shasta Historic State Park in Shasta, California, and they've preserved a lot of the Old West buildings. We're going to go through. It's partially kind of like ghost towny, but also on this road, this like main sort of road that goes through the town. We're going to look at some of the buildings here and look at a little piece of kind of like the ghost town part of town. So come along with me, here we go. So we are at Shasta State Historic Park, California State Park in, you guessed it, California. And we'll go through some of this area they've preserved as part of the park. It's extremely accessible. I thought it'd be like tucked in somewhere, but no. But apparently this first thing we see is a Madame Gavon's Hotel franchise, 1850s. I guess it was on this site here. Currently a picnic table. You can see some buildings over there, some remnant buildings. We got some like poppies around here. Hi, poppy. But there's a sign up here. There's a plaque. It says what this is. So Shasta, founded in 1849 as Reading Springs. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so a lot of just unsurprisingly things from the 1800s. So it looks like around 1850s is when this whole area kind of started up. And there are remnants, like I said, in this area of the park. Let's see what this sign says. This was the site of J.A. Browner Hardware. They put signs obviously where the buildings no longer exist, but there are some buildings up ahead. There's a little minecart thing over here. I wonder if there's still gold in these parts. All right, so you can see there's ruins and remnants of old storefronts right here. And you can see, again, it's kind of just the shell of the building. But it says right here, from miners to merchants. Because of the region's rugged terrain, Shasta was as far west as stagecoaches and freight wagons could travel. See a picture here. Miners working the northern mines relied on pack trains of oxen, mules, or horses to bring them their supplies. The starting point for the pack trains, Shasta, known as the head of Woe navigation. And by 1854, Shasta was home to California's largest row of brick buildings. That's where we are now. North of San Francisco, bakeries, saloons, hotels, banks, grocery and clothing stores were just a few of the businesses. So again, here's some of those remnants of those brick buildings. All right, if we walk this way, there's another plaque. On this site, in May 1852, a group of Shasta merchants met with William H. Noble to employ him as a guide over a direct route he had marked as an immigrant trail. This meeting resulted in the establishment of Noble's Trail, rededicated April 27th, 1985. So, little piece of history again. And then here's a map. Apparently I'm right here. It's part of the South Side ruins. There's the old Masonic Hall across the way. We'll go look at that. Schoolhouses. The bakery. It says, built between 1853 and 1856, these brick buildings were once the central business district of the busy gold rush town of Shasta. The reconstructed boardwalk provides a path into the past. Come explore the lives of Northern California's early pioneers. And so there you go, a little call to the past with this walkway. Again, kind of a glimpse into the ruins. It's hard to see, the sun's shining too bright on what this spot was, but more signs. We'll go in here. So it talks about the gold rush aspect, some of the people that were here. By our 21st century standards, Shasta was segregated as a community. For its time, however, it was a place of opportunity for people of a variety of backgrounds. Many who faced discrimination elsewhere prospered in Shasta. So here's some of those people. Again, pictures from the past during the gold rush days. Some of these buildings are still intact. But yeah, here's like another glimpse. Again, just remnant buildings. As you get towards the end, it really becomes just very bare. Kind of not much left area. But again, I'll show you there's a couple stores that are still intact down the way. We'll go look at those real quick. Another sign here. Brick, the answer to fire. So I think, this is just mentioning that fires were, of course, a big danger back then. And so Shasta rebuilt its commercial district in brick, as we see here. Much of the town burned again in 1878. The brick buildings on Main Street survived. And it talks about how they actually go about preserving the ruins within Shasta. It is interesting to think that roughly 150 years ago, if I'm doing my math right, I think, in the 1850s, this was a very bustling area, and this would have been traversed by a lot of people walking down this walkway and going to all these stores, and now it's extremely empty and desolate and just a road cars pass by on. But interesting to think about the past. If you were to actually time travel, to use a Back to the Future reference again, you would, this would be a very different area. You'd run into a lot of people, and there'd be a lot going on here. But again, today, it's just remnants, just memories. I was about to make a joke like, now it's all ruined. Kind of works. Comment below if you like that. I know no one does. Pretty cool being in a ghost town relic area, because where I am in California, or was, there aren't really as many of these, so it's actually cool to see kind of a dedicated spot for this. And definitely interesting area. The past comes alive. Alright, then it says location, the key to success. So 1848, there was gold found nearby. And then when word got out, miners rushed to the region, unsurprisingly. By the summer of 1849, several hundred of them were camping at Reading Springs and panning for gold in local creeks and streams. Over the next year, a community of tents and temporary structures grew into a town. In 1850, residents officially named the town Shasta. So you get kind of, again, some pictures here of what it looked like back then. And even some of the buildings that were in the area. And again, remnants over here. Actually, I did see people with metal detectors on my way over here, so don't mind them. Get it? Yeah, mining, I guess. Not mining, but looking for minerals. Still a thing here. I was going to do a joke about either or. O-R-E. Let's move on. Okay, so here's some of the buildings I saw just as I was getting closer. You have an old blacksmith's shop. This is just like Doc Brown's shop that he had in Back to the Future 3. Remember? Marty! Nothing can go that fast except a train! That was a terrible impersonation, but you remember, Back to the Future 3. Doc Brown was a blacksmith. Best I could do, but yeah. Yep, and some of the kind of cool remnant things here from the blacksmith shop. Got an old wagon here. I'm guessing old blacksmith equipment. I don't know what any of this is, but it's got that old wood smell here too. This thing, again, I have no idea what it is. Definitely have to crank it up, whatever it is, it looks like. Then they actually have, you can actually just eat out here. That'd be pretty fun. Eat in a ghost town. We got an old general store here. Again, this is one of the buildings I was like, oh, this one's still intact. And then here's the bakery I saw. I think the sign is up here. There we go. Old school too, with the period at the end. That's when you know it's old school. Bakery. Period. But they have it looks like, I mean, it's closed right now, but pretty cool. Very old building. Here we go with the old style walkway. They don't open yet. They're closed right now. It is Sunday. But yeah, pretty cool. You can get like look at the sandwiches, paninis, hot dogs, cold drinks, coffee, baked goods. I wonder if this is what the miners would eat. I'm gonna go ahead and guess not. Well, coffee and baked goods, but I don't think hot dogs. Just a guess. Although in the Brady Bunch episode I just mentioned earlier, the prospector did want to eat their fried chicken. Alice's fried chicken, so not the same as hot dogs. I don't know where I'm going with that. And then here's what the general store would have looked like back then. But nowadays, just not open. Fully locked, but an intact building nonetheless. Yeah. But these are the two intact ones in the area. Then it looks like here they have Western Star Lodge number 2, the oldest chartered Masonic lodge in California. So here's it's from 1848 it looks like. Here's the building itself. Buildings back then, of course, smaller than today. It looks so small. I think if this was like a meeting place, but it was. They have the sign here, I guess, erected 1853 and occupied by this lodge on St. John's Day, December 27th, 1854. There's the doors here. Yep, occupied 1854. The doorway, this building's actually pretty well intact. So there you go, another building. Some steps, the old steps down to it, I guess. I guess it had a basement, so it's bigger than it looks, but still. Very small compared to today's buildings. Then up these steps here is the old courthouse, which just reminds me of Back to the Future again, of course. Although this courthouse looks a little different than the Hill Valley one. This is normally a museum, but it's actually been closed since COVID. So as you can see, shut today, but it has more of the, God, you know what's sad? Those steps made me all winded, but that's okay. But more of the kind of relics and kind of things that you could learn from the area, but again, closed for now. Erected in 1855. A lot of destroying by fire. And then it looked like a lot of, by the late 1800s, more and more things moved to Redding, including the county seat, Redding, California. But old courthouse is still standing and normally a museum. So there's that. Then there's another old building up ahead here, although I guess this might still be in use in some form. Yeah, looks like an actual property. So we've got kind of to the end of the state park part, but definitely an older building. Thought it might have, wow, can't speak. I thought it might have had a sign or something, but it looks like it's still in use. So we'll go ahead and head back. There's this old school barn looking building, or maybe a barn with what looks like stagecoaches in it. Older buildings are always make me feel tall. So it's pretty short. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit spooked out in this. It feels scary, but look, there's an old stagecoach they have in here. That's pretty cool. So it says the stagecoach was among the last stages making regular runs in Shasta County. Blah, 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 owned by the firm, blah, blah, blah. So the trips would often take several days. You know, even between Shasta and the nearby town Redding. And it says, for a modern example, the trip between Shasta and Redding, a short car ride today took an hour by stagecoach in 1882. It is a very short car ride. It took me about 13 or so minutes from Redding, so this is definitely, things were rougher back then. Very exposed seating too. I'll go ahead and take an air-conditioned car over this. These things always seem fun to ride in for like 10 minutes. Still haven't been in one, but I feel like a stagecoach is like fun as a quick thing to just try, but nothing you want to actually do for a long time, as they did back then. And then they had the timetable for all the routes. California and Oregon Coast Overland Stage Company, summer 1882. Yeah, it looked like it took a long time to get anywhere. Like, you'd have to dedicate a lot of hours, basically, for what are, of course, much shorter rides by car today. But there's the timetable in case you time travel to 1882. You're welcome. And it looks like they have an old wagon over here. Yeah, freight wagons. Horse and mule drawn freight wagons were used to transport goods over land. Team size depended on the weight of the cargo and the grade of the roads. Teamsters often met at the base of steep hills and combined teams to make the grade. That's where that term comes from. Did not know that. Here you go with another freight wagon. A lot bigger to actually store a lot of things. And they have an old mine case thing next to it. But here you go, another freight wagon. So they would go ahead and load these up, and this would carry goods all over the place. And I'm sure by back then standards it was large, but once again, by today, it doesn't look like it holds a ton. Then they have another, I mean, I have no idea what this is. Machine thing here. Looks substantial. No plaque to say what it is, but nonetheless, pretty interesting. This kind of looks like a Doc Brown invention, like when he made the, wasn't it ice? He made an iced tea for Marty, and it was in a big machine with lots of things like this and whistles, so we'll just go with that for this, because I have no idea what this is. Okay, lo and behold, we have an answer. So this looks like number 2. A core drill. Steam-powered core drills allowed hard rock miners to pull samples of rock from below the Earth's surface. Rocks were examined for traces of quartz, gold, or other minerals. The steam engines, there you go, saw that too, from these drills were modified for other uses after the gold rush. So never fear, there was a plaque. There was a sign. I saw the sign, and it told me what this was. I saw the sign. It's amazing to me how modernized and still functioning and well maintained these bathrooms are from back in the day. Just, I mean, look at this. I have to do that joke every time. It's a modern bathroom. Just in case. I know you all knew that, but I have to do the joke. Well, time to hitch up my horse and leave the Old West. Still working on that impersonation. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video, this walk through a remnant partial mining ghost town. Please subscribe to this channel. I do more travel videos, conversation, like podcast style with friends, and hopefully more Disneyland videos coming this year, hopefully. But just general interesting stuff. So if you enjoyed this, please subscribe. And see you. I don't know what the pioneers said, but I guess just time to, that was loud, time to hitch a wagon and get a tootin'. I really need to look that up. But thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.